How are we doing, team? A presentation on creating referrers. It was called creating referrals. That will make more sense as we go as to why it's about creating referrers as opposed to creating referrals. As always, amateur versus professional. This presentation is from that professional standpoint, as is everything in club, and that will make more sense as we go. Our pathway. This is the backbone of club, the backbone of our business. This is what we use when we are stuck. With what we use at all times anyway, but especially when we're stuck, we just refer back to the pathway. Where is this particular person on here? Let me have a new conversation with them, plug them back into this, remind them of this, whatever the case may be. So what I'm going to go through here is essentially an upskill that is relevant to the pathway to help you maybe look at referrals and people that refer differently and actually give you some actionable and tangible stuff to use. So the goal essentially to build a business that is 80% referral based. I'm going to go through my numbers from May in a second to give this some context, or just to show you where I'm at, and then what I'm thinking about, or my approach, should I say, in the month of June, how I'm going to be talking to some of my or a few particular club members that I have. So, attraction marketing versus prospecting. Prospecting will always be a pillar of our business because every relationship has to start somewhere. So, look, we're all prospecting. We do it every single day. It's on our tracking sheet. It's super, super, super important to take that time out. Ideally 5 times a week minimum, where you're doing some kind of prospecting, inviting. However, the goal is not to spend the rest of our lives chasing people. Don't know about you, but it's not my goal to be doing that every single day for the rest of my life. The goal is to build a business that becomes increasingly attractive and referral driven, that creates so many people that it has to then create more junior partners and club owners. So building an attractive business. Here's a good example. Companies like Nike don't rely on people sending cold messages every day. They have built a brand, a customer experience, and a reputation that causes people like myself, probably like you, to seek them out. And look, while we're not Nike, the principle was the same. Create enough value that people naturally want to talk about what you're doing. And the reason I say this is there was a point maybe a few weeks ago where I got loads of new people in, and my focus was so value driven. And that's kind of gone down a little bit the last couple of weeks. It's still solid. I'm still, giving value, but I've kind of fallen back into that place of maybe a little bit of complacency and not adding as much value as I know I can do. And I enjoy giving that value. I love giving value. So prospecting creates momentum, referrals create leverage. So prospecting helps us create new opportunities. That's why it's super important to do, to always be farming, planting seeds and getting our new people in that we can turn into referrers, which I'll go through in a bit. Referrals help us multiply those opportunities. So prospecting helps us create new opportunities, and the referrals help us to turn that person into a multiple. Yeah, a business built only on prospecting requires constant effort. A business built on referrals starts generating its own momentum. So here's my numbers as of May the 30th. So near enough the end of the month. Might have changed a little bit, but it's going to finish around about this. Yeah, 33% is people that I've introduced, and this is in club. And 67% is referrals. So my goal is to get above that 80% mark in June, to be honest with you, well above that 80% mark. Because that means I'm creating more ambassadors, supervisors, maybe even a trainee coach in the month of June. Who knows? I'm not focused on the outcome. I'm focused on what I can control to improve these numbers. So referrals are a lag indicator. Let me explain. So referrals tell us what happened. Referrers tell us what we've created. I'll say that again. Referrals tell us what happened. Referrers tell us what we've created. So if someone's referring, there's obviously some stuff that we've done previously to get them referring. So this is somebody that we've created. We've created this referrer by utilizing the pathway, the conversations we're having in between club visits. If people aren't referring, the issue usually isn't the referral scripts, yeah? The checklist, that kind of thing. The issue is somewhere earlier in the pathway. Have we delivered have we delivered enough value? Have we created enough belief? Have we helped them achieve a result worth talking about? Have we delivered enough value? Have we created enough belief? We've got to be always pumping belief into people. Like, of course, you can refer people to club. Just tell them about your experience. Tell them about how much you love it. That's what they want to know. They don't want to know how many vitamins and minerals in a shake. I tell you that much for free. They want to know your experience of club. And, most importantly, have we helped them achieve a result worth talking about? That's the most important thing. Getting them that result through the right approach with them. So some people, they need that tender loving care. Some people need that hard love. Either way, find the best way to get them to their result. The best way they're going to enjoy club each time they come, which increases the likelihood of them talking to their friends and family. So instead of focusing on getting referrals, focus on creating referrers. A referral is an event. A referrer is an asset. So what does that mean? So, for example, you have somebody who referred someone, they turn up to the sampler. That is something that's happened. You've got a referral at this event, at this sampler. That is one thing that's just happening there and then. A referrer, somebody that's constantly bringing people, is an asset. Because most people could get one person here, maybe one person there. But we want people that are constantly referring because they are an asset to our club. If I get one referral from a customer, that's great. If I create a customer who consistently talks about what we do, shares their results, brings guests to the club, and introduces people over time, that is far more valuable. I'll say that again. If I create a customer or a club member who consistently talks about what we do, shares their results, brings guests to the club, and introduces people over time, all the time, that's far more valuable. I'm just going to give an example of just going to take a sip of my tea. One of my club members here in Ruislip, yeah? This is Jen. She's got an incredible result. I should have put her result up, to be honest with you. But anyway, she's got a great result. Trust me on that one. One of our best results in club, to be honest with you, in a 4-month period. She recently, in May, the start of May, become an ambassador. So it took a bit of time with Jen, actually. She was doing about, 3 months in club where she hadn't referred anyone. She'd been on the ambassador call. She was an option B, but she just hadn't got anyone yet. She'd got people booked in for sampler, but they didn't turn up. Listen, that's not important. What's important is that I just kept focusing on value with Jen and giving her a great experience in club, making sure she was getting results. And her results got better month on month until eventually her friend that she goes on walks with regularly, she brought her to the club, to our relaunch day, booked her in for a wellness, along with Yoloma that you see there. So she brought 2 people in to our club relaunch day, and I got them booked in. Rest is history. So in May, Jen became an ambassador. She did 225 volume points. And Aloma and Caroline both did 100 plus. I haven't added in all the takeaways and stuff. This is more to do with core products. Jen also introduced her sister the other day, Janet, who's on a home plan. She lives far away. So we're going to focus on Caroline and Aloma for now, yeah? But what you have there is a cluster in May that generated around about 585 volume points for me and my personal volume. Here's what I'm focusing on in June. Just noticed a little mistake. Jen there, I'm going to actually put as 275. Let's say that's 275 because I'm going to promote to Jen to get to senior consultant. She needs another 275 volume points this month. She's senior consultant. Shouldn't be too difficult as she did 225 last month for herself, her own personal consumption. So it's worth her doing the 275 for that permanent 35%. And I've already spoken to her about that. I said, look, once you've got that 35%, that's a minimum forever. So she'll do 275. That's already up the volume here, yeah? Obviously, I'm going to speak to her about adding more of our friends and family. And not for the sake of just adding them because I need them, but adding them because doesn't it feel great that you're helping your friends and family? Now that you've got Caroline and Yoloma in club with you, it's going to help you build your points as well. If you get these guys into the club and they become ambassadors like you, their points are going to contribute towards yours. But anyway, I'm going to focus on Jen getting a couple more. And I've already spoken to Caroline and Yoloma, who've both been on an ambassador call or an option B about bringing people in, and they've got people as well. So my job is just to keep focusing on the value in regards to Jen, Caroline, Yoloma, and keep planting the seeds in regards to getting to know the people that they've got on their list, the people that they've got in mind, which I'll come to in a second. But ultimately, my focus in June is turning that 585 volume points into over 1,300 volume points in June. So that's how, for example, I could, of course, I'm going to go out and get some more frontline myself, but I'm looking to generate, as many referrals as I can, but hyper focused on 6 referrals in this cluster in the month of June. And I'm not going to get overly, obsessed with having to hit that 6. I know that the cluster is going to go on towards 1,000, maybe over 1,000 this month because of the value that I bring to this cluster. And I'm doing this with a few clusters. You can see my volume is finished sort of just under 6K this month. That's how I'm going to move it towards 7, 8, 9. It's this approach, yeah? Focused on value and just having the right conversations. Of course, it's all underpinned, again, reminder, by that pathway. Just if I need to, plugging them back into the ambassador meeting, even getting them to jump on the quick start as well. But my goal is to get those 2 club members for Jen as ambassadors, and I've spoken to them both about that because they've seen Jen placing an order in club and said, look, I don't want you paying full price. I want you getting your own account like Jen and building your own points. And here's the thing, people only know what you tell them, yeah? So it's about enrolling them in the bigger game, the Club 100 mission, the cluster game from Jen downwards, using my example, and then the individual games, their game within that as well in regards to Caroline and Yoloma. Put yourself in their shoes and remember when you first learned about building points and discounts. It was exciting, yeah? I remember I was like, I just want to build points. Points mean prizes. That same sense of excitement is what we want them to experience. So again, put yourself in their shoes. They'll want to build points. They will. It's just whether they believe that they can build the points and get those people in. And that's where we just got to keep giving them the value, giving them the care so they can be fully confident when they bring their friends and family, they're going to get the same experience. So the goal is not to become better at asking for referrals. The goal is to create an experience that naturally generates them. When referrals become embedded in the pathway, personal volume becomes more predictable, stable, and scalable. So I said it again, the goal is not to become better at asking for referrals, it's to create an experience within club that naturally generates them. And I think we all inherently know this, but it's having that, I'm talking to myself here, at the forefront of my mind every morning when we open the doors here in club. So the goal isn't to have customers. The goal is to have customers who become ambassadors. The goal isn't to have ambassadors. The goal is to have ambassadors who become promoters and beyond, supervisors, trainee coaches, JPs, club owners. When you build enough promoters, referrals stop feeling like something you have to chase and start becoming part of the culture of the business. So back in the day, we used to call it Raven fans. We're looking to not just create Raven fans, we're looking to create Raven fans that are also promoters and almost like a street team for what it is we do, that are out there on the field, just talking about what we do, championing what we do, but not just championing what we do, bringing people in. And it's up to us to be diligent, making sure we're following up. There's a sheet, I'll find it, that you can put in their folders where you can get them to write in little hearts around their name of like their sort of top 5 warmest leads that they have, the people that maybe mentioned to them, they're looking great, asking the most questions. They're most likely first 5 that they could get, yeah? And 5 is a great number because that 5 gets them to 33 club visits. So that's it from me. Anyone can ask for a referral. The real skill is creating the kind of customer who wants to give one. I'll say that again. I've repeated myself a lot with certain things, and look, it's for me as well, a lot of this. Anyone can ask for a referral. The real skill is creating the kind of customer who wants to give one, Anyway, let me know if you've got value from this video. Have a great rest of your day, and look out for the next episode, the next video.